Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to the Fireside Chats, our Lucas Bouchard Fireside Chats. I used to always have up the fan. We'd be fanning myself because just the sight of Lucas Bouchard across the screen can ignite a fire. There's no real fireplace. Tonight, I think I might have my fan up because, I'm only 30 minutes away from Philly, and my family are all diehard Philly fans. And it looks like we might be making history tonight. So, those of you who don't watch, are not watching the Super Bowl, thank you for being here. And those who are not, they can catch us later. They've got more important things to do than to see me in my pajamas with my wrinkled curtain and talk about Lucas Bouchard, right? Hi, everyone. I'm noticing all of your little comments. Oh, Dorothy, let's see what that says. Roxanne is the glue that holds us together when we are missing Lucas screen time. Well, that's nice. I've had a lot of hate mail recently. The people get mad at me when I speak fairly. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear. They want to be able to say things, and I'm like, that's not true. I'm gonna call you out on that. Let's see. Yes, let's go with Margie. We're gonna start with you first, Margie. Lucas didn't have a very big pass part this last night. So before we're going to focus on that, I'm going to leave that up and say hi to everybody. And Lillian, she's sending me a message. She goes, "Are you having the podcast?" I'm like, "Yes, I was always having the podcast, Lillian, always." And people can tune in when they want. All right. Just because it's routine and I can't break up my routine. And she tell me she's on her way. Okay, Lillian. All right. So um let's talk about a couple of things. One thing that I find so interesting is that Lucas Chris has had fourth billing for all 6 episodes. It has not changed. Now, Aaron always has first billing. And second and third tend to kind of like jockey from different people. It could be sometimes it's Jack Wagner and Pascal and Kevin, or it's Pascal. She has second billing a lot. And Kevin McGarry's had second billing quite a few times this season, and rightfully so because he has a prominent part. But what's funny about this is some people were like, someone was very upset, and it wasn't someone, several were upset when I pointed out that he had fourth billing. They're like, whoopee doo, he's not in enough on the screen time. Oh, I'm not disputing that. I wish we had more Lucas time. I feel like a lot of the actors and the characters are fighting for screen time lately. I really feel it hard this time. I don't know if you all feel it this season, but it is something to the actor, and it does mean something in the entertainment industry. It is a signal that other producers, showrunners, series, networks see. And it often can mean, I'm not saying it always does, it can often mean like more money. It's like I think it's the number 2 thing they negotiate big time besides money is how you're seen and how you're billed of importance. So even if you don't have a very large part, you still might have a really important part, or you are considered to be of value or an attraction to that series. Now, sometimes they'll do a with or a special guest. Now, in this particular episode, who had the special top lead right there with the title was Melissa Gilbert, right? And her part wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, but she is a very special guest, and she brings a lot of value to the show because she has a beautiful history in the entertainment business. So, something that we can keep in our minds is that even though we don't see Lucas Bouchard as much as we want, for those of us that love him, because this is what this podcast is all about, is just him. Chris McNally is valued, and Chris McNally has been fourth billing the entire 6 episodes. So I'm happy with that. It's all contractual, right? It is, Cindy. It is. It definitely is, my dear. All right, I'm going to take that down. And Margie, that was just my little segue to remember that he wasn't in much. So I did my little calculations, and the amount of time was something like 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Usually it's closer to 7 minutes this season, maybe jockeying somewhere in between that 6, 7, 7.5. But it it really wasn't that much with him, because the first time we saw him, it was all of like 56 seconds. And he was always sharing that time with someone else in a big way, especially that the next time we see Lucas, it's like it's a bigger chunk of time, but the thing is that he's sharing a lot of that time with Jada. Chris is sharing it with Jada, with Allie speaking, and with the kids in that so-called debate or dialogue. And I love how they made Fiona tone down Rosemary, and she was very receptive to it. She's like, she smiles, and you can even, her whole demeanor changes, Rosemary, and she's like, dialogue, like instead of, she wanted it to be like a little rumble. Did anybody notice though, which I thought was cute, and it would be a question I would like to ask Chris, is that when they were introducing the two, like, well, they were introducing the governor, and how he was going to have a dialogue with the kiddos. And when he did that, he went and did like a little, like that kind of a thing, just as a joke. And I'm wondering, and they looked over at the kids, the kids looked at him. I was wondering if that was something that was written or just something that he kind of like, he said. Susan, we won't be talking about the fever dream tonight, but I will be talking about the fever dream tomorrow. I got a whole lot to say about the fever dream. So we gotta wait for that. Margie, I hope Melissa will be back. Oh, she'll be back. She absolutely will be back. But all that stuff I discussed tomorrow. It's late, and a lot of us have been hyped up with the Super Bowl, so I don't want to like take up our time with other things. So I just wanted to point out the how much time he actually had on screen. I'm also going to be discussing the interview that the official Hardys did with Chris. I found some things to be interesting, and I wanted to know if anyone else recognized them or felt anything. But I wanted to talk about something that had nothing to do with Lucas, but it did. So in the very beginning, there's a conversation that Elizabeth has. Well, first of all, let's talk about who wrote this. Joy Gregory wrote this. She is the new co-showrunner with Lindsay, and she wrote this episode. And I want to say this carefully. I want to say this. The episode, the actors did a great job, and the directing, all of that was fine to me. But the writing of this episode was not in the least. It did not fit. And I can say this now because it does have to do with Lucas. To me, this was a filler. This was like they were trying to find like stories to put together. I mean, if we didn't have this episode, it would have been fine. I wish that it was done differently. We could have seen way more of many other stories, especially when it came to what was going on with Lucas. So that's my point. It was a strange episode. I agree, there was no substance to the episode, and I'll get more into that tomorrow. Yes. All right. So anyway, not that I am sure. I mean, that she is a good writer. I don't really know her work. I think she did some soap opera stuff. I'm not sure. I would have to research it, and I am going to research it more for tomorrow. But it just what did not fit. It did not fit. Lillian, used to write for Madam Secretary. What on earth did we see last night? Okay, so she is a talented writer. All right. So listen, you are, like I keep saying, in the constraints of whatever they think that big picture is, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, too much time on nonsense. It could have been different. It could have definitely been different. Okay, so getting back to this, there was the scene with Nathan and Elizabeth, and they're sitting and they're talking about Allie, and he's like, yeah, okay. He's like, not understanding why Allie is so emotional. And she says it takes more than one conversation to get over, because I thought you two talked about that. And she goes, it takes more than one conversation to get over a boy. She really liked him. Now, the irony in that dialogue and the irony in that scene is that we're talking about a girl who's not even 16 years old. We're talking about a young girl who's just starting to feel more, I guess, than a crush, because she's had crushes before and worried about boys before with Robert, right? And Angela being friends and whatever. So she doesn't even know this Earl. Okay. She's laid eyes on him all of 2 times and had 4 conversations at the most. And they have spent and given so much time to her and her feelings. And I know why, because they want to show Elizabeth being a mother. But what about the breakup? What about all the time that was invested in Elizabeth making a choice, choosing Lucas, and the breakup happens in seconds, and never, ever, ever do we hear anything else more about it. There was like, it takes more than one conversation to get over a boy. She really liked him. What about a grown man and woman? How long does it take a grown man to have a chance to get over his feelings for a woman that he waited for patiently, basically his whole life? Okay. That killed me. I thought, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. That was crazy, right, Christina? That was wild. Too much time with silly giggling. They're adults. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Miriam. That blew my mind. Like, why go there? Like, why even go there? Which made me start thinking this. In this season, the writers are making sure that there is no screen time between Elizabeth and Lucas and Nathan and Lucas. The actors, I'm thinking about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it just hit me like minutes ago when I was thinking about it all. There has not been a scene with Lucas and Elizabeth, nor a scene with Lucas and Nathan once yet. And I don't think there was a scene between Faith and Lucas, which I can kind of understand, because this is the second episode that Andrea wasn't in. So she's only been in 4. And I know her time is extra limited. But I mean, he's had encounters with Mike and with May, even with Fiona, giving her a hug, Henry, all the kids, plenty with some with Joseph, plenty with Lee and Rosemary. I mean, really, he has not now, and it's weird, Bill, but it never anything with Nathan and never anything with Elizabeth. Like, they keep that separate. Yeah, exactly. I've noticed that too. Like, yeah, good. I didn't think there was crazy. Yes. They'd never even had a conversation between Elizabeth and Lucas. They have not. Uh-huh. 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 Yep. Joanne, we'll talk about those fever dreams tomorrow. Save that. Yeah. Yes. And it's only been a year since they've broke up. You know what, Carrie? They talk about that in the Heart to Hearties. They talk about how Chris says, he says it's sort of a snow globe kind of world, and because they're talking about the election again. I don't take it as, oh, he's going to hurry up and have to run again. I take it as they always are afraid of the election or worried about the election and the votes the next time you come up. And that's like Edwin's, fear or whatever. And that's how they created that character. But I feel like maybe it's been more than a year since they've broken up, because I forget what Elizabeth had written. I don't know. In my mind, I thought it was a little bit more, but you know how that goes. It's close. Maybe two tops, Carrie, 2 tops. All right. So there's not much to say. The conversation with the debate, right? That he has with, I'm sorry, I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back. Um, the debate with the kids was okay, but now we're talking about this okay. In my head, this is a new story. This is a new story since 10 and whatnot. But Lucas has a good relationship with the kiddos. He has helped them in the past. They have worked together. So it should have been easy for them to have a conversation. And I was put off by not the righteousness, I don't know, there was like a nasty tinge to the way Allie spoke to him. Do you know what I mean? I felt like it could have been different. It didn't have to be such a like a challenge kind of thing. I love that she and Oliver were smart and could gather that information. And that part was a little weird to me because that was not a stream that would have salmon in it. And I grew up on a farm. We have farm we don't have salmon, but just like that was just like a little sort of like a retention pond, stagnant water. In real life, we've had those. So I thought that was funny. But I can get on the creative license of things, an artistic license. But just the way it was handled, it could have been meatier, it could have been better, and it was really choppy. So I was disappointed in that scene. So she was somewhat disrespectful. Yes, but she is somewhat disrespectful. That's her character. The radio conversation was aggressive with Allie for sure, and that will have an impact on the national park. Yes. And here's the other thing. Is that all that the governor is worried about? Is that park? It's always one thing. It's just the same thing as with the whole are we going to get the resort or not? Are we going to get the resort or not? Are we going to get the resort? Now the national park has this issue, national park has that issue, national park has that whole long arc is not their forte, and I wish they would stop trying to do it. I hope you hear me out there, people, you writers. Please, you're allowed to have constructive criticism. Stop writing a big story arc like that. It's not your forte. It's kind of like redundant. It kind of feels like the same thing, except it's sort of the same feel, the same power struggle, the same thing. It's just calling it a park now instead of a resort. I don't know. Margie, that's what I was thinking. He is governor of a province. Why is it only concerned with Hope Valley? I don't know. The stories are weak. Thank you. Where did the Hope Valley kindness go, especially towards Lucas? All the times all the times Allie and Nathan went fishing, they never caught any salmon. Oh, it's true. Salmon are in the rivers that lead to the stream. Yeah. Yes, but I don't know. Just wouldn't survive in that bit of water. I know. I know they're trying to make more out of whatever it is. And I'm not even too upset by that. But anyway, there's not really much more to, talk about with Lucas, but let's talk about that interview. And I don't know if you've had a chance. So I'm going to be saying it and I'll type it in so people that come back can, if they don't want to watch the whole interview I don't know why you wouldn't. It's good. You want to go to different parts, that would be great. They could have asked better questions on the Heart to Hearties, but they never ask. To me, I feel like they never ask the right questions. And I think it's because they're afraid to, and they try to tiptoe around things and maybe because of who they are within certain constraints to ask certain things, or maybe they think they're asking good questions. I don't know. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So I might hop around with this. I should not speak for him. Okay. So before I start with that, the part about the fourth billing and him being valued, I forgot to say this. So when I go out on social media and I see things where people are speaking for Chris, like Chris is not valued, I can see where we want to say Lucas, the character, is not being valued, but Chris is not valued. Chris is unhappy. Chris is being treated whatever. That's not true, and we shouldn't speak for him. He often says all the time, even if you pick up subtle things and this is part of the thing I want to talk about from the Heart to Hearties, always says he's happy. This is the character that brings him the most joy. He's even said to me, this is the one I identify with as me being like closest to who I am. He enjoys working there. He's made lasting friends. They're like family. In the conversation that he was having with Mark and the two other women, or her co-hosts, they were asking him about a drink, and somehow they got on the topic of alcohol and how he really doesn't drink anymore. And he kind of said that in when he was chatting with me. And because he has a baby, and he was mentioning how they use, what they use on set. Sometimes they use non-alcoholic stuff, and some of it's gross, some of it's good. The wine's gross. He said, give me caramel colored water. But he was mentioning how he said friends came over, and he goes, I believe it was Kayla and Kevin recently. He said, and they brought over, non-alcoholic mimosas, and he thought it was light and refreshing. It was delicious. Just having a simple conversation. So Kevin and Kayla are, you know who they are, and they're Fiona and Nathan, and they were coming over to have dinner, and they don't live far, and they do things together. So, they are friends, and we don't do any justice by projecting our feelings on him and saying that those are his words. We got to pay attention. He is a happy guy. Agreed, Roxanne, as he loves the role and speaks highly of it, so only he should be able to comment on it. Yes. I think Chris is very happy playing these scenes. He says it lots of times. He likes it. Even though we wish there was more to the storyline, it's different for him and he's enjoying it, right? Yes, it is a huge challenge for him. He says it all of the time. That doesn't mean that we have to love the storylines, but good for him that he's enjoying himself and he likes what he does. Because when you don't like what you're doing, why are you doing it? Especially, I mean, I know why you do it, but why when you could try to do something different? I guess I don't know, that's my mentality. So anyway, it was, let's see, this was a big deal when they were asking him about Edie, and Mark said, we almost want to use the word, this was at 2604, and I'm going to put it here, 26.04 into the interview. They were talking about, and I'll put it up here so people can see it. They were asking him about Edie and her character, and Mark says, we almost want to say that we're smitten with her and we want her to stick around. And they said to him, do you think that she'll be sticking around? And he said, well, I'm the wrong person to ask. Now, if you go back and you watch Mark, he acted as if he really had no say. She was like her look was like, come on, you know that you have a say, but he was being very gracious about it. So I really think that he does have a lot of say in certain things. And I think that they realize how important, they being the powers that be, of a character he plays to the storyline, and how much the fans enjoy him. And so I think that's why, and this is just me saying this, looking at it, he's had fourth billing. I think he's valued, and they're still trying to figure out their storylines. This is my take on it from here, and her expression. You could go back and you could say it. Let's see. It's okay. He'll forget it at the end of the season. Oh, he doesn't forget things. I think that's a mechanism for him to not answer, because then he could spit off, certain things. And so he says, and Mark makes that face, and he says that when he was trying to explain it, he goes, at the end of the day, he can't write the stories. Sometimes he has not like 100% certainty of what is going to happen in the stories. And he said things in this industry change so fast that we don't even realize that that's a conversation for another day, or a whole other conversation. And he says, geez, I don't even know for certainty if I'll be back, right? How could I comment about someone else? And then certain people ran and said, Chris McNally's not going to be coming back on season 13. First of all, they don't know if they have a 13. I'm sure they will. Secondly, that's not what he said. So people need to go back and rewatch that. And you should not write things like that, because now when a few people wrote that, I see other people saying, "Oh my gosh, I heard he's not coming back." And now the rumor has started, and that was taken out of context. So I just wanted to like point that out. Based on what you're saying, I don't think he's watching this season. He's certainly not tweeting. Yeah, he talked about why he doesn't tweet. He said that's like family time for him. That's dinner time, getting the baby to bed, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucas gave a funny and cute look at Edwin when he smelled the muffins. Yes, yes, yes. I love their facial expressions. So then I liked they were asking him about his character. This is interesting. This was at 14.42. I'm going to put that here. 14.42, and then I'm going to post it up here. I know I'm jumping around. They were asking him about his character and if Lucas is considered a people pleaser. And he's like, it's not so much that he's a people pleaser, that sometimes, and even Mark had said that at the end, if it's for the greater good, then that's okay. He's looking at the whole picture, right? And they had said to him, one of the co-hosts said to him that it was like when Lucas comes off as being genuine and wanting to help. And Chris liked that. Chris said thanks for noticing, and he's glad because that was his intention. I'm using the word intention. He's glad that it came through. And then he was also listing all the things that he cares about, has always cared about the town. And he said there was the library, he was worried about the water issue, the resort because of the economy, now this park. So we know when we feel that vibe of that's how Lucas is, that he is caring, we know that that must be how Chris is feeling because of what he said here. And I was like, yes, okay. Because sometimes we read our own stuff into things, and that's not how the character's supposed to be. That's not what the director's thinking, and that's not what the actor's thinking. So I like that is what Chris is thinking. That is what he feels, that he's trying to do things for the greater good. It's not just to be a people pleaser, and it's not just for him. So I like that. People need to stop overacting about his person and his work life, his personal and his work life. People need to stop overacting about his personal and his work life. I think that's what you're trying to say, Jenny. Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad that, as me as a viewer, I'm feeling that, and that was his intent. That's a good confirmation to know. The other thing that I thought was really cool, and I'm going to point this out, this was at 27 10. I'm going to put that there. Let's see. I'm going to hold on for a second. What's Cindy saying? Don't mean to be mean or anything, but I think that group would love any actress paired with Lucas because they love E and N, and this takes attention off the Lucas breakup. I don't know what group. Okay, I'm not there yet. Okay, I'm putting that up here. All right, so this is about the chemistry test. And the things that I found that were interesting were not too long ago, people were writing about how Elizabeth was always written for Nathan. That came out again, and how they had this big chemistry test, and that they always knew that those two were going to be together. And I was thinking, oh no, because I remember Chris in great detail talking about his chemistry test with Aaron. And he brings that up when they ask him about, he had to have a big chemistry test to find Edie. He had to sit in a room and it took hours. And he said they were all excellent, all individual. But the thing that he liked the most, that clicked the most, and I'm paraphrasing here, with Miranda, was that they had a little sparkle going on, and it was in her eyes. And I was like, yes, when I saw them on screen, I said this not too long ago, like she's like him, like Chris, they act with their eyes. Like we talk about this, Chris has had parts where he said no words, you just looked at his facial expressions and his eyes, and you were like, you knew what was going on. And this is what he noticed about Miranda. And that was like what was a cool click. And I appreciate that. He said he appreciated the unspoken, like the unspoken in her eyes. I was like, yes. So they come sort of cut from the same cloth kind of thing, which I thought was really cool. Let's see, I'm gonna take that away. Yes, overacting over his personal life and his work life. Yes, they're very much always trying to make comments as if they know. I get it. Yes. Oh, the official Hardy's group. Yes. Yes, that's true. Um, yes, I got that. My phone is driving me crazy. My message sent before I could finish my statement. It's okay. You could write it back. Don't worry. Let's see. Karen, and I wanted to talk about the chemistry thing. I got sidetracked a little bit. The part about Chris had a chemistry test with Erin, and they made him get in a train, and they talked about books, like an argument that had to do with books, and it was a fake scene that never happened. It wasn't a train, it was a coach ride. I'm sorry, it was a coach ride. And they had this conversation about books and an argument, like a little tete-on-tete kind of argument thing. So I'm like, see, I'm not nuts. We're not nuts. He's talked about it again. He said the last time he ever had a chemistry test, because they were asking about being on the other side, he said was with Erin. So I thought that was cool. So just validation of some things of what he had to say. He also said they asked him if Edie challenges him. This was in 3051 right here. And I'll tell you what my takeaway is from all of this. It seems like Edie challenges him, like, yeah, we know that. And he said, yes. And he feels that his character, Lucas, needs that. He needs to be challenged. They're very, like, cerebral. He didn't say that, but they are. And he said that, like, he gives it and he gives it out a lot. So he has to be able to take it. And he loves the two, like the back and forth kind of stuff. And I loved how the original scene of them, it was with the rope and the calf, was in mud. And he's like, he saw that and he's like, I don't want to be in mud and have all those costume changes and be cold. He's like, I had a bit of panic over that. So that would have been kind of funny, but I'm glad it wasn't in the mud. So anyway, let me see what people are saying before I wrap up and we move over. Originally, he was being casted for the Mountie. And then as for Lucas's role, the chemistry test went well, of course. Robin, he tried out for both. You're right. They called him back in. Mountie, no, I think he originally was for Lucas and he was late. And so they asked him to do the Mountie, but then they called him back in to do Lucas. And then he had the whole scene with Erin, which was kind of cool. Let's see. The word is pronounced overreacting. Okay. Sub B, whatever. I'm just reading what other people are saying, and I'm quite well aware I know how to pronounce words. Yeah, thanks. It's what I do for a living. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think I've ever met you before, and that's so nice that you're here to correct me. Thanks. He is gracious and thoughtful in the interview. He is. He's always gracious and thoughtful. I wanted to share some cool things with you too before we go. I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on. The chemistry, the challenge and so my takeaway is this. My takeaway is that what he basically says is if they have a season 13, and I would be shocked if they didn't, Edie will be there. They invested all that time, and she wouldn't be there just for a season. So the plan is that he will be back, of course, and she will be back, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes and how that goes. With that being said, I wanted to share some other things with you. This was funny to me, okay? Here's what I loved about this. This is Frozen. I took this right off my TV. And his Wi-Fi was freezing, right? And usually when people freeze up, they're all like, like kind of funny things like that. And excuse me. Thank you. And look how perfect he is. It just froze like it's like a photograph, a still. Isn't that great? It's so funny. Even when his Wi-Fi freezes, he it manages to be cute, right? I don't know if anybody has seen that and caught that. I thought that was funny. And Mark even said, "Oh, wait a minute." When he got up to go find the book for the drink, your Wi-Fi's better over there. And he goes, "Yeah, figures." All right. This is Carrie. Carrie is a big Chris McNally fan, and she shared that beautiful mug and the drink that she made because they were asking him on the official Heart to Hearty if he could come up with a drink. And the drink he came up with off the top of his head was penicillin, but he didn't remember how to make it. And Carrie made her version without any alcohol in it. Carrie, I have a question for you. Is this mug that you have here kind of like a take on the teacup that Elizabeth gives Lucas? Because I've been trying to find that teacup, and I was wondering if that's what that was or no. I could be wrong. Let us know here. Let's see. The other thing we've got here is the actual recipe. Now, Carrie, you shared this in two spots. You shared it on the Chris McNally fan page, oh, well, that I know of, and you also shared it on the When Calls the Heart on Hallmark page. So this is the non-alcoholic version, which I thought was cool. And it looks delicious. And you can use candied ginger or dried lemon slice to garnish. And then it's called the penicillin, which is funny. I love that he came up with this. Now, this is the actual cocktail, and that is what you put in this. And I thought it was great because it came off of the top of Chris's head, and usually he's all about I guess like a big whiskey type drink, but this is a little different, right? Yes. Love the Friendly Village dishes. At the 44 mark, Chris said if they get a season 13, he wants Lucas forced out of politics. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. All right. And then what would he do, Lillian? I got to put that up for everybody. What would he do? What would he do? Yes, he did. He gave it a teacup with a sailboat on it. You are correct, Jill. And I could never find it. And I thought maybe that was kind of like reminiscent of it. I don't know. It's the cup that they use in the cafe. That's it. Thank you. That's where it is. Okay. Thank you. I knew it was familiar in a way, and I was trying to figure it out. Thank you for saying that, letting us know, because people will want that. Love the name love that name for a drink. Yeah. He would be a cattle rancher. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. No. No, I don't want that. He talked about mayor. They're always saying that he should be the mayor, he the actor, because he's always seeing something and pointing out something. And they're like, you need to be the mayor, which I thought was funny. Yeah. So don't we go home to Hope Valley and be the mayor? Yes. 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 I'm hoping that Lucas sees the need to replace Edwin with Fiona or Edie. Oh, definitely Fiona. I absolutely would love Fiona. And he's a jerk, but he's a great character. He's fun. I love him, but not. I love to hate him. And they kind of pointed that out in his interview. Chris speaks perfectly with his eyes. They're so expressive. Yes, Judy, this is what we're talking about. And he notices that in Miranda. And I noticed that in their scenes together. When she first sees him and gets introduced by Edwin, how she looks and her eyes. I noticed that. And then again, when they're sitting across from each other. I mean, there was just so many times I'm like, oh, she's an actor like he is. All right. Should he go back and be the saloon owner? He sold it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I love to keep Edwin too. He adds a little spice in the middle of all of that. Yeah, he's a disaster. Yes, yes. Chris, look with a bit longer episode. We need Karen. We need him. Hi, Karen. How are you? You know what, Karen? I was thinking of something. Great episode. Love the longer hair and also how he handled the interview. I know. I agree. Karen, are you the one that sent me the beautiful little earrings? Was it you that sent me the earrings that are Oh gosh, I forgot where you picked them up from, and it came in a little cute box. I was wearing them the other day, and I was thinking about, I forgot who sent them. I don't want to be rude. I'm just thinking about that. If it was you, let me know. Let's see. I still think they too many people in this in the show. I'm going to address that more, Martha. I am. So we're 40 minutes in. Wow. Okay. So let's see. His eyes put a spell on me. I would like to see Lucas do more governor work before he gets forced out of politics. Okay, Sandy. The set of When Calls the Heart is absolutely stunning and will definitely feel like you are back in time. So I can see how the actors get so into character. Uh-huh. And the attention of detail of all things is incredible. Yes. You are, Karen. Well, I wanted to tell you that I hadn't worn them for a while. And I happened to pull out my jewelry box. I usually wear like these I've had them for years. My sister gave them to me. They're like a white platinum earring with little, has like little diamonds in them, and I usually wear, they're like a hoop, and I saw them and I was like, oh, this goes with what I have on, and I wore them. I wanted to tell you. Thank you. I wish they would take him out of politics too. Okay. You don't like Lucas in politics? All right. They were from the Round Barn. That's at the theater. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. I would love to see Lucas and Edie just walking down the street and where Elizabeth or Nathan to see them and their reaction. Yeah, Jill, the reaction's going to be written as nothing. Don't forget they're not real. They're not going to write them where there's some kind of reaction. Believe me, it's going to be a, oh, no phase at all. The interview, he also talked about Henry and the hazelnuts. I know, I know, I know. It was a good interview with him, and it's fun how he was able to say things without saying things, you know. He's very good at that, very gracious. All right, so that's it. That's what I have for tonight. I just thought that that interview had some little hints of to what's kind of like going on behind the scenes, and I don't know. I liked it. I liked, it was like a little glimpse into Chris getting to say how he felt with constraints. Do you know what I mean? So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the whole episode. If you're interested, meet me there. And I don't know if anyone had anything they wanted to add tonight before we go. Let's see. Edwin could be the maitre d at the Queen of Hearts if Lucas bought it back from Lee. I don't know, Margie. He's funny. That guy is funny. Apparently, Chris loves having scenes with Eric. Eric's a nice guy. I had him on before. He's in a movie. We like to support all the characters from the show, all the actors that are on the show. And he's in a movie. And funny thing is that he and Miranda are in the same movie together. It's one of the Love-uary movies that's coming. I think it's called Return to Office or Return to Office. I think that's what it is. All right. All right. Yes, Lee has a lot going on. Okay, Eric and Miranda. Yes, yes. I was just saying that, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Roxanne, for another good podcast. Talk tomorrow, everyone. All right. Thank you. Yes, it's this Saturday. Thank you, Curry. Thank you, Lucy. So, all right, everyone.